Okay. All right. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode number 2 of Real Estate Recess. I'm Jennifer Schurter. I'm with Real Broker. I'm out here in the Portland, Oregon metro area, and I'm really excited that somebody decided to come out and play today, and that's Laura Petek. And she's my
Yes.
friend and realtor from Cleveland, Ohio, and
Mhm.
really excited to have you part of the old conversation today. For
Yeah, I
lunch,
think this will be a good thing.
yeah, the menu today. What's on the Real Estate Recess menu today? It's not a Lunchable, unfortunately.
I do love a Lunchable,
I
though.
do too. Yeah, remember how cool those were to have in school if you had the
They were
Lunchable, the
they were
Capri Sun, the
Yep.
Oreo
I don't
cookie?
know if they're as cool as more a anymore, but they were
Yeah.
pretty cool. They were
Oh,
pretty
they
cool.
were.
That was like the hot time when they were just
I
coming out when I was little.
y Yeah, and I think that even today, they're still cool because my son asks me, "Well, why can't I have one of these?" Because, well, it's like $6. And
Yeah, that's true.
so at this point, maybe once in a while, but they're still cool. I think the kids still like them.
Yeah.
But on our actual agenda, our actual menu today,
Mhm.
we are going to talk about a few things that are on that have been in the news here in Oregon. One of them is this tolling that they're talking about doing on I-5 and I-205 here in the Portland, Oregon metro area. So that was recently, last year, that was proposed that they move that. It was supposed to take effect 2024, but the governor said, "Hey, we're going to push this out to 2026." So that's the first item we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And so I'm sure probably in Ohio you have toll roads, so maybe you can give us
We
some
do.
insight on what that's like.
We do. I wouldn't say that we're excessive. Pennsylvania, I would say, is excessive with their toll roads. There's some other states I know that have a lot of toll. Florida has a lot of toll roads. Ohio, not too many, but we do have one that pretty much goes right from end to end, west to east. So it's pretty nice.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll dig into that. The
Okay.
second thing we're going to talk about today is Fannie Mae has these projections that they've made about the housing market. And one thing that was really interesting that they made this projection about was interest rates and where they see them going potentially in 2024 and 2025. And you and I both know as real estate agents what happens when when the rates are going to go lower. I mean, we have a pretty good
Oh
idea
yeah.
based on our past
Oh yeah.
history.
I have this conversation every day of the week. Every
Right.
day of the week, I am having this conversation with someone else. If I'm not having it multiple times a day, this is
Right.
going to be a crazy, crazy year. Yeah. So I definitely
Right.
want to talk about that.
Yeah, so we're going to dig into that. So anybody out there who's looking to buy or sell a home, whether here in Oregon, Clackamas County, Portland metro area, or even Cleveland, several hours, days, and states away,
Yeah.
um, it basically all comes down to the same thing. So we're going to dig into that too. And finally, and you got to stick around for this, we're going to have a little game of Would You Rather Real Estate Edition and have some fun things. And I have a couple unhinged questions I think that'll be kind of
Okay.
fun to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you've got some things we can throw in there too. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So Laura, why don't you, before we get started on breaking down some of these topics, why don't you tell the people watching,
Okay.
why don't we tell them your social handles and how they can find you on the social media sphere?
Okay, so it's pretty easy to find me. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. You can find me as Laura Petek. I'm in the Northeast Ohio area. If you just search my name, Petek, you will find me. Um, I I post on all social media platforms pretty much. TikTok, I probably post on the most, and Facebook. But you'll find a lot of information, a lot of crazy things that go on in my market. Yesterday, I was touring a hotel, and
Yeah.
I have never seen. I'm not kidding. The keys that were involved in this no-tell motel were like the size of a football.
I
And
saw your post. I saw your
yes,
Instagram story. I was like, "Where are you?" With all
yes,
this wad of keys, just this
yes,
handful of all
yes.
these keys.
I've been creating the
Wild.
content for that because it was a hoot. It was a hoot.
So great.
The another agent met me out there, was kind of showing me around, had to go grab her kids. And being that I'm a licensed agent, of course I could take the keys, but they obviously don't keep those in a lockbox.
Right.
It was the size of a football. It
Oh,
was
it's
crazy. So,
ridiculous.
yeah,
That is
we have
so
all
wild.
kinds of crazy things to talk about
Yeah.
in my area.
Ah,
And
so
you
good.
I will say motel, I'm just gonna shock you right now and knock your socks off.
All
The
right.
price
All
point
right.
on that for a 40 unit with a laundromat, an event center all together, are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
600. Yeah,
$1,000, not like I don't know what other 600 there'd
yeah,
be. $600,000.
yeah,
Golly.
yeah, 600,000, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's gonna land around there. We'll
Yeah.
see. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It may land
Well,
a little.
yeah. So check out Laura Petek, everybody. You see the behind the scenes, see if you're curious about what's going on in Ohio.
Yeah,
But anyway, let's talk about tolling, shall we? Let's
yeah,
break this down for the people and really wanted to just bring this up. So Oregonians are very split on this issue because, there's always concerns. Anytime there's changes or anything's proposed, it's human nature, right? That
oh,
anytime
yeah,
something new is proposed and we're going to talk
yes,
about having to spend more money on things, people feel the pinch already with inflation and things are getting more expensive to think, okay, I've got to commute to work every single day. And now I'm going to have to pay a toll to drive the road I have to drive every day.
right.
So there's been a lot of pushback about this. So
Mhm.
I in Ohio, Laura, with the toll roads that you have there, how is that what was that like? Were those built exclusively to be toll roads, or were those tolls added to existing highways?
That's a good question. They were built to be a toll road. It's to my knowledge, in my lifetime, in spending north staying in Northeast Ohio my entire life, I've never had a highway get changed to that. And I would also say that our tolls are very economical. For me, the most common one that I take, they just raised it to 75 cents.
Oh,
So
wow.
I would say that it's not a real big deal to go 15 miles on the turnpike. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And pay a toll.
mhm.
So
Gotcha.
I think the highest you can pay is maybe around 30 or $40 total. Like that would be like, you're driving from the end to the end, like,
Right.
or you lost your ticket.
Oh, sure.
That would say.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, and I think what's interesting about this is, you read the proposal in this article. So there's the article I posted there. I'll put it back
Mhm.
up again just so that everybody can see it. Is that this is on Coin News 6 website. Those who are local here to Portland will know where to find this. This is one of the news channels here, the CBS affiliate. They talked about, one of the things they're talking about with these ODOT proposals is that they want to use this money to fund improvements in the highway system. And here in Oregon, we have something called the gas tax. So you're taxed on every gallon of gas you buy, and that was intended to be used to keep up the roads, make things better, improve things. But I who knows? It's with electric cars and everything. I think they're having a hard time funding all the improvements to the highways that need to be made.
Yeah.
So they've got this tolling, and also to decrease congestion. So they're trying to get people to not drive by in theory, you could
Yeah.
make that assumption that they're
Yeah.
trying to get people not to drive because of these tolls just to decrease the congestion. So it's interesting because I don't know where these cars are going to go if they
Yeah.
decide to dodge the toll. So that's where the impact on the local communities comes in that I'm just not sure the behavior of humans in trying to save what they can and not adapt. They're going to go to the back roads, they're going to go to the surface streets.
Mhm.
And what's that going to look like
Mhm.
for people?
Mhm.
So, for the quality of life for people who live on these surface streets or the safety issues. So, I know that with ODOT, that's been a big key piece of feedback that folks have said. But what else have you seen? Do you find a lot of people I mean, it sounds like they're pretty easy for you guys to use out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can have one of those little buttons that you put on your car where it just pshum and you can pop through it. We still have the actual person that's there. And you click your little ticket, take your ticket, and then the guy's there to pick it up at the end. They just recently added where you can pay with your phone, you can pay with a credit card, you can pay, and there's not an actual attendant there. The one gal, just when I went through about a week or so ago. She was just telling me how the machines are actually like acting up, and it's like kind of a new thing because here we have terrible, terrible weather. So I don't know if that will have something to do with it with the machines. I mean, obviously we have ATMs and everything like that that hold up to the weather, but the weather's
Right.
pretty extreme. We had like -15 wind chills last week.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah. So
Wow.
so there's a lot of things, there's a lot of different moving parts when it comes to like what's how you're going to make changes like that. But I would say ours hasn't gone through very many changes at all. And we have crazy traffic jams, but nothing like many of the other states do.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty laid back. If people are complaining about traffic, they really have nothing to complain about.
Sure.
Just need to
Yeah,
sit in
right.
traffic for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not like
Well,
in Los Angeles where you're in traffic for like 2 hours or
right.
whatever.
Right. Well, once upon a time, and this is several years ago when I still worked in radio, we always would talk about this article that came out, and they come out with these studies every year. And I just thought of it, but it was at that time, Oregon or the Portland metro area was number 8 for worst traffic in the country. So for the size of our metro, what are we? Number 25 out of all the big metros, we're ranked number 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
And to think that, but we're number 8 in traffic. So it's like
Mhm.
not something we want to aspire to. So obviously they're trying to find solutions that will improve the highway system. People are continuing to move around and move here. So
Yeah.
we can't just stick our head in the sand and wait for things to get better. But it's just a matter of, are they doing it in a way that's going to be a benefit for everybody, or is it going to be an issue for the communities with the traffic and the safety issues and all that good stuff? So
And
anyway, very
I would
interesting.
assume you guys have like the lanes where you can just if you're driving with someone else, you can use the high speed lanes. Yeah.
Oh, like a commuter lane.
Yeah.
Yes, there's one
Yeah.
of those on I-5 North. If you when you get into North Portland and you're going towards the I-5 bridge that goes over into Vancouver, Washington, yes, we
Mhm.
have one of those commuter lanes. There's only one, and honestly, our freeway through there is so narrow. It's wild to think that the main thoroughfare for commerce through Portland is 2 lanes,
Oh.
and then a 3rd lane
Oh,
is
well, that's
added, or a
where a
4th
lot of
lane or
your
whatever.
traffic is coming
It's
from.
it's
Yeah.
small. Yeah, so it's tight through there and in several areas. So,
Okay.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So we will for keep everybody posted on kind of what's going on with this, with the tolling and
Mhm.
and those timelines. But sound off in the comments. What do you think about this? Do you think that these are a good idea? Do you think they're a bad idea? We'd love to hear what you have to say. Leave us a comment. Okay, so now we can move on. So our second topic of the day for real estate recess has to do with these interest rates.
Oh,
Fannie Mae
yes.
Fannie Mae makes predictions, and they made their predictions for 2024, and they're saying we're going to settle between 6 and 6.5%.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
I think it's gonna cause some crazy. We're gonna go back to the crazy. We just are. I know it. I mean, right now in Northeast Ohio, I, for instance, had a client call me and say they have not put their house up for sale yet. They've been tiptoeing in the market since October.
Mhm.
And they've been just kind of watching things and seeing what pops up. And we've seen a few different properties, but they need to sell their property in order to buy a property. And they got pretty excited about this one that came on the market. It was day 2 of being on the market. They called me, we want to go see it, but we need to wait a couple days because my wife is out of town. I said, no
Mhm.
problem. Guess what? Guess what? Multiple offer situation. And she said, we are closing it down at 11 a.m. on Monday morning. So if you can't see
Mm.
it by 11 on Monday morning, then you cannot purchase the property. They
Wow.
already had multiple offers. And this was just a condo that was redone. And I'll tell you what, anybody who's listening that is
Mm.
considering selling your home, if you have little unfinished pieces, parts, that is money. That is straight up money. And those little tiny
Yes.
things, unfinished trim or door frames or something like that. If those were little projects that you thought that you were going to do them because
Right.
those little projects add up to thousands of dollars. We don't
Yes.
want you to get solar panels, but we want you to do those little things because it means money. And when someone saw these properties, this particular property online, they were scooping it right up. The professional photography, everything that was done with the listing, we're already in a multiple offer situation.
Wow.
And my client is sitting there going, well, we don't even have our house up for sale yet.
Mm.
And we couldn't make a move that quickly. So, boom, it's gone. So, we're already seeing that happen here.
Mhm.
We're already seeing multiples.
That's
So,
wild.
it is coming down the line.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show something here. I'm gonna add this document here so that we can look at it. So this is a document that y'all could find online. This is Fannie Mae's economic developments, and and if you go through, there's a page in here where they talk about that 30-year fixed interest rate. They suspect it's going to land at about 6.1 or 6.01 here once we by the end of the year, and then under 6% by the time we get to 2025, which I think is it's crazy to think about predictions because you and I both know what predictions are.
Mhm.
They are they may come true or they may not. So we can
Your
certainly
crystal ball.
it's the crystal ball thing, right? Well, gee, I
Yeah,
broke mine. And
yeah.
so sorry, but it's they could be accurate, they could come true, but gosh, there's a lot of time between now and the end of the year or even a few months from now where who knows what's gonna happen, and a
Mhm.
lot of that depends on a lot of other factors that have to come into play, but I can tell you interest rates got up to 8% in October. I mean, you remember that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that
All my
feeling of like,
buyers fell
"Ugh."
off the face of the earth.
Right,
Yes,
everybody said, "Whoa, pump the
tax
brakes.
rate.
We're gonna hold we're just gonna sit tight. We just
Yep,
wanna see what happens."
yep,
And not a lot of people were jumping up and down excited, if anybody that I knew of,
yeah.
about
And
8%.
the people who were moving were relocators.
Right, people
Relocators were moving.
yes, yeah,
Yep,
or people who absolutely had to make a move and, you know,
estate.
and we used the tools we could, which rate buy downs and things like that. Talk to your
Mhm,
lender about what that looks like for you if you're buying, but then you think about too, we think just a handful of weeks later, we started to drop down again, and then before the end of the year, we were cruising down pretty well to the sixes again. So we're in the high sixes right now on average, and that has changed the entire dynamic of the market. Just
mhm.
going from that high, and once people saw that downward momentum on those
Yeah,
rates,
yeah,
it activity started to pick up again. So I think the news is if buying is potentially on your list this year and you're thinking, when do I jump in? I would say the sooner the better, and work with your lender to figure out tools and things that you
yes,
can use to make it
yes.
as affordable as you can on the rate side.
Yes, my lender is offering to my clients because I've had a few that were like, "Oh, I just love this house and I don't want it to go away when the when the houses start moving a little bit quicker." And they were all kind of disappointed,
Yeah.
What are we going to do because I really want this house now. And this was December.
Yeah.
So what happened was they went ahead and they always say, marry the house, date the rate. Have you heard that before? So
Yes. Yes.
they found the house that they loved, and my lender is giving them a program where they can refinance later and not have to pay all those closing costs and extra fees.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
it's like, I don't know, silly money. It's probably like $300 for them to do that, but they'll be able to get that new interest rate. So now
Yes.
I have quite a few clients that are like, "Oh, we're watching. What do you think, Laura? Do you think it's going to go down again?" And I'm like, "Hang tight, sugar.
Yeah.
They're going to go down again." And
Yeah.
I've even heard that they predict it might go down 5 times. So it
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
like click, click, click. And will it land under 6? I don't we'll see. I mean, we'll
We will
see.
see, and that would be amazing, and I always think of this vision in my head of, like, if the rates were doors in a hallway, and every time the rate gets to a certain point, the door opens and a flood of buyers can enter the market because at that rate,
Yes.
like, okay, that makes sense for us here. This is probably the max, like, this is where we can do it. We need to make a move because we are in a condo and we have 2 bedrooms and we have a
5
baby
kids.
already and we've got
Yes.
another on the way and we're
Yes.
in a 900 square foot condo. This is not going to work. So we
Yes.
have to do something because we're going to bust at the seams out of this condo. So
Mhm.
people who need to make a move and are those move up buyers or even people who are downsizing and need a mortgage. Every time that door opens, that rate comes down. More people are going to enter the market. And
Yeah.
so that I think that we're already seeing that January is busy.
Mhm.
I have all of a sudden 3 active buyers within the last week that are like, let's go. We're looking right now." And,
Agreed. Mhm.
it's so if you're buying, so what does this mean for you if you're a buyer? If you're a buyer, then I would say now is the time. Now is the time before as it continues to come down this year. Get
Yeah.
your affairs in order, talk to a lender,
Yep.
meet up with your realtor, call me in Portland. Call
Yes.
Laura in Cleveland,
Oh, hi.
um, and start strategizing. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, so start doing strategy. Don't I mean, wouldn't you
Absolutely.
agree? I mean, right now is the
Absolutely, and
time.
what I'm seeing is some of the houses that have been on the market a little bit longer, maybe they were listed in December. So
Mhm.
many houses are still on the market since December, and it isn't because anything's wrong with them. It's just they got put on the market, the holidays came, before we knew it, everybody was caught up in the holidays, they weren't shopping for houses right then and there. Now we're strolling into January and everybody's like, "Hey, I do want to take a look at that house." Well, guess what? It's been on the market 76 days.
Yeah.
And they automatically go, "Ah, shoot. There must be something wrong with that. It was off the market, back on the market. Maybe it went under contract, maybe it didn't." Look into those properties
Yeah.
because those sellers are like, "Come on. I want to get rid of this property." And
Right.
you all often can negotiate something with that.
Mhm.
You know, there's
Absolutely.
yeah, and I
Absolutely.
know that there's a bunch of inventory here, more inventory that we've had than recent, you know what I mean,
Right.
in the
Right.
last few years, so
So I think the key thing for buyers, right, the point of right now is if you can find those homes that carried over from 2023 and are still listed on the market
yeah,
and have been on the market for a while, now
yes,
is the time to negotiate a sales price, which you can only get this one time, or
yes,
and B, maybe the seller can pay closing costs for, or a concession to help you pay for your rate buy down.
yeah,
This is when those opportunities are here, that's the time to do it, not in 6 months when the rates have come down a lot and
mhm,
suddenly you have multiple offers on homes and we get into some more competitive and sticky situations where that's just
right,
not gonna be possible.
right,
Yeah. So for sellers, on the other hand, yes, sellers, this matters to you also because
absolutely,
lower interest rates for buyers mean there are going to be buyers out shopping for properties like yours,
that's
all
right,
price points,
yep,
all price
all price
points,
all price points,
all
yeah,
price points, yes.
yeah, and here, our price points are very reasonable, so you can start in anything from 60 and $70,000. If you wanna
Yeah,
be in a better area, obviously, the prices continue to go up, and you can be up into 1,000,000, but
right.
your options are so vast here, so vast in
Yeah,
properties,
that's
and just the
great.
cost of living is great, or if you're an
Yeah,
investor, this is a great opportunity in the Cleveland metro area.
right.
I mean, insane,
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. This is it's I think this year, so for sellers, be ready. I would say if you're thinking about selling and you weren't sure if this was going to be the year, if these Fannie Mae projections come true and we start to
Definitely.
see these interest rates come down, um, again, just like with buyers, it's a great time to strategize, meet with that agent to help you figure out what it is that you need to do. If you have the honeydew list or the punch list repairs, get
Yes.
a
Do those little
pre-inspection done.
things. Yes,
Yep.
get a
Do
pre-inspection.
that.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
Because
Talk
just
to
because
your
rates are
agent.
coming yeah, just because rates are coming down and buyers are gonna enter the market, you still have to do the prep work to make your house in show ready condition. That's still going to be important to buyers. Um, it's
Absolutely.
yeah, don't
Just
be complacent on
and
that.
and we'll do another video on this too. Be careful who you hire, because I don't wanna get, into a whole
Right,
thing with that, but just be careful who you hire. There are so many agents out there that are not answering their phones. You know, they're not familiar with the local market. They might not be the best pick for, and that's probably just a
right.
whole nother video on itself. That
Yeah,
there are just so many
absolutely.
different options and different styles that people have in selling
Right,
a home and
right,
strategies. And if
right.
they don't have any of those things, they might be going with the stick the sign in the yard and pray
The
and
post and pray.
post and pray. Yeah. All
Yeah,
about the prayer, but
the
just
prayer,
sticking that in
absolutely.
there, that's
Yeah,
always included in mine.
yeah,
But
always. That's absolutely part of the strategy, right?
but that's where I'm seeing some of these houses that have been listed, like I said, in December and stuff. The marketing hasn't been continued on those properties either. So
Right.
they're just not getting people through them.
Sure.
So,
I would agree with that.
and then
Absolutely.
that's not transpiring into a sale. So, if you're a
Right.
buyer on the fence, get out there. If you're a seller on the fence, start talking to your
Get
agent
ready.
and get,
Get
yeah,
ready.
absolutely, because I think the
Yeah.
storm's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. All right. So there you have it. There's our breakdown of that particular projection, what it means to you buyers, what it means to you sellers. So let's jump in. Let's have a little bit of fun here. So I have this game of real estate would you rather,
Okay.
where we discuss scenarios where you have to make a choice that might be uncomfortable or maybe unrealistic for you. We
Oh,
might have so we have some unhinged ideas potentially, but at the end of the day, I think that we can have some fun with with this. So, Laura, I'll ask you the first one.
okay.
Um, it's pretty basic, and maybe we can talk about the pros and cons of each of these. So,
Okay.
you walk in and you have a choice in the house. You can have a kitchen island or you can have a walk-in pantry. Which one would you rather have? Or what are
I
the pros and cons of both of those ideas?
okay. I would say the kitchen island, because you can use that for your baking, your
Mhm.
entertaining. So your
Yeah.
charcuterie board can be across your island. The pantry is nice, but you're also going to have additional storage in the island.
Mhm.
So maybe your pots and pans are going to go there, and you can use another cabinet for your dry goods or something like that.
Sure.
Or a
Sure.
portable pantry, something of that nature. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
So
I
my vote
do.
my vote is go with the kitchen island.
See, and I'm gonna go walk-in pantry.
Really?
I'm going walk-in pantry because I'm somebody who loves to cook, and I always have ingredients and kitchen appliances that I cannot get to
Okay.
fit anywhere. So you figure if like you've got special like a deep fryer, we have one of those. We've got a vacuum sealer
Yeah.
and we've got several other things like that. Or we go to Costco. And anybody who goes to Costco out there, this, you come home and you've got a pallet load of noodles or whatever
Yes.
and
Agreed.
or you keep it in the garage, but then after a point, it's like, well, you've got stuff kind of all over the place. So I'm a walk-in pantry myself if I had
Alright.
to choose that. So
Alright.
so the
Alright.
divided. We're divided on that one.
Yeah, we are. We are divided.
All right. So the next one is would you rather have an eat-in dining room or a breakfast nook?
Hmm.
Yeah,
An
this one's
eat-in
hard.
dining room.
Yeah, this is a
Mhm.
hard one. I feel like or there's houses where there are both. Like our house has the formal dining room, and then
Mhm.
we also have the breakfast nook in our kitchen area.
I mean, honestly, I think you're
But
probably gonna use the breakfast nook more than you are the formal dining room.
right, I would agree with that.
For me, my formal dining room is like papers, real estate calls, just so I could switch it up. 1 minute I'm
Yeah,
here, 1 minute I'm there, 1 minute I'm in the office, whatever. That's
yeah,
pretty much what I'm using it for in Christmas.
yeah.
So,
Right,
yeah, I'd go
right.
with breakfast nook. Now, do
And
you agree with that?
I do agree with that. If I had to pick one, I would go with the breakfast nook because if you have a space that's flexible and functional like that, plus I feel like the breakfast nook, if it's like between a family room where you've got your TV and you're gonna entertain anyway, so you figure everybody always ends up in the kitchen. I guess this goes back to your kitchen island.
Well,
But
it's yeah,
if you've got the breakfast nook and you're entertaining for a football game or something, everybody's gonna be in there
true,
around wanting to be in the kitchen where all the food
true.
is. Everybody's gonna, hang out there to watch the game or whatever. Or you're making dinner and you can make your kids do their homework and supervise or whatever the case is. And you can all kind of be together and you're not in separate rooms. So I don't know. I like that. I like the breakfast nook idea
Okay,
myself. Yeah, I'm
okay.
on board with it.
Yeah, well, the peanut gallery that is here, you can't see him behind the screen, but he's mouthing to me dining room. So why
Okay.
is that? Why is that, sir? Why the
Because if I think you have to have somewhere formal that you're going to have to host if you're going to ever host, a formal
Okay.
dinner.
Okay, did
Okay.
you hear that? If you're hosting a
Yeah.
formal dinner,
Yeah. Yeah.
he
It's
votes
nothing
that.
to,
It
Sure.
depends how much are you a hoster? I
Right,
guess
and
that's
what's your
the
lifestyle? What is your
Yes,
lifestyle there? Because if you are
yes,
the type of person that enjoys doing those sit-down, plated, fancy dinners for your friends and family, or you do the
sure,
formal holiday gathering,
sure.
is that even a part of I mean, it's pretty rare anymore. I feel like those kinds of things are not as common as they
Mhm.
used to be. I mean,
Right.
I growing up for holidays, we used to do the full my mom would set the table every holiday, and now it's like Chinette and plastic forks. So
Yes. It is, it did change from that.
it
My mom
changed.
always did that too. You had
Lifestyle.
the special
Yes,
Christmas dishes. Now every
absolutely.
minimalist out there is like, "No, I would not have Christmas dishes.
Yes,
We only have
Christmas,
1 set of
Easter,
dishes."
4th of July, Thanksgiving, you'd have
Yes.
every holiday of dish to
Yes.
set your table and all the little trappings and trimmings.
Yes.
Okay, so our next one,
Okay.
bedroom. So imagine your primary bedroom.
Okay.
Would you rather have a fireplace or would you rather have a balcony? What do you think? What are the
Oh,
what about that one?
I would definitely go with the balcony.
Okay.
I think I would enjoy that. Now, I have noticed, like, to those who have the balcony, typically, if you're gonna have the balcony, it's gonna be a second floor balcony, and a lot of people will say, "I might drink my coffee there, I blah, blah, blah." But
Right.
really, would you? Because by the time you made your coffee downstairs in the kitchen, now you're gonna carry it back upstairs and go back through your bedroom and then go sit outside, or are you just gonna sit out on the deck that you have right off the kitchen
Yeah.
if you're gonna sit outside?
Right.
You know? I just am not a huge fireplace person, although I am in Ohio and it is freezing. Maybe
Yeah.
I should become one. I don't know. I've never had a bedroom fireplace, so I've never really thought about that.
Sure.
What do you think?
I I thought about this one long and hard when I was coming up with these questions. I'm team fireplace because I feel like a balcony is just kind of in a bedroom is kind of a waste of space because I don't see myself sitting out there. If you're the type of person that's gonna actually sit out there and greet the morning as the sun rises and go out onto your balcony and Cinderella's birds are coming and, putting your
Yes.
bathrobe on, then
Yes.
yes, that's not my life. The
Yeah.
dogs are more likely to bark than that would happen. So
Yeah.
I'm team fireplace, not for the warmth, but for the ambiance, for
Okay.
relaxing, for winding
Okay.
down in the
Okay.
evening and before bed. I think that would be why I would pick fireplace.
Mhm.
Um, Even if it was an electric one or a gas fireplace, just, some ambiance more than anything.
So tell me this, would you rather have an outdoor barbecue, where they have those setups that are all
Yeah.
fancy in the
Yeah.
outdoor barbecue, or would you rather have an outdoor seating area that is specific for the fire pit?
Oh, see, that's tough. I I think I'd rather have the fire pit,
Okay.
and that's because my kids having kids, they would
Mhm.
love that. If we had a nice area and you could do a lot with those areas to make it, you
Right.
know covered. It could be a gas fireplace, so you could have a covered area. So then you could use it at multiple times of the year, especially here in Oregon when it's raining. You could
Right.
go out there and hang out and bundle up and have hot chocolate, roast marshmallows, whatever. I
Mhm.
think that'd be pretty slick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's what I would choose as well. Because to me, the area that the barbecue is in, the aesthetic of it isn't that big of a deal to me.
Yeah.
It's not. I would prefer to have the fire pit area and have nice cozy chairs, like you said, the blanket, a bench,
Yeah.
stones on the ground,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah,
Totally.
I would prefer to
Totally. Okay. So then let's end this with the unhinged, uncomfortable one. Okay,
okay.
let me give you the scenario here.
This
There are
controversy.
only 2 houses left that
Okay.
you can choose from to buy.
Okay.
Only 2
Okay. 2.
in all of your area.
Okay.
Nothing else is gonna come up for sale.
Right.
You have 2 choices, 2 different houses.
Mhm.
House number 1 has pet urine damage and smells like pet urine.
Okay.
House number 2 has cigarette smoke damage and smells heavily of smoke. Which would you pick?
Okay. Here's the thing. The pet urine can soak into the baseboards, and I honestly think you're gonna have more damage to that than you are with the cigarette smoke.
Mhm,
Um, those ozone machines make a huge difference. I don't know if you're familiar with those on
mhm. Oh,
Amazon.
totally.
I
Yeah.
also saw these, coal bags? N
Oh,
uh,
interesting.
something I had never seen them before, but someone had laid them. This house wasn't for sale yet. The homeowner just said, "Here's my pin. Can you just go look at it real quick
Yeah.
and let me know what you think?" And they had all these bags tossed all over, and I believe it was for cigarette smoke. And that made a big difference because they did have the staining on the walls and
Sure.
whatnot. They had started painting, and so I would have to say I would choose the cigarette smoke over the pet urine because also I have pets. I have a cat and I have a dog.
Yeah.
And when that urine goes into the floor, then your pets start to
Mm,
associate that with their own life.
right. Right. Well,
You know?
and, with and, yeah, absolutely. So this is a tough one because both scenarios are a challenge, and you've seen these houses, I've seen these houses. We've talked clients through options of who they could call to consult to repair or update or whatever on any of these things. Both are very damaging in
Yeah.
their own way. I mean,
Yeah.
cigarette smoke even, if it's a home that has been heavily smoked in for a very long time, that smoke seems to permeate so much like into the sheetrock, and you in some rooms you may have to completely remove the sheetrock to get
Mhm.
rid of all of the cigarette damage, the smoke damage. So
Mhm.
but pet urine, like you say, it even in hardwood floors you can refinish them, but are you going to get all that staining? How deep does that staining go, and how long had that issue been persistent in that
Mhm.
particular area?
Mhm.
And neither of them are necessarily always gonna be completely 100% gone, but I think I'd have to gosh, this is a hard one, but I think I'd have to go with cigarette smoke myself, because I
Mhm.
think you might have to repaint your walls with kills
It's the
every few
lesser of the
years.
2 evils,
It
you
is,
know?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. It's not desire, neither of those are easy to deal with as
Mhm.
somebody coming in to buy a property, but if I had to pick,
Mhm.
yeah, I would go cigarette smoke damage.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. 'Cause at least in the short term, I feel like too, the even shorter term solutions to mitigate that smell, would work, but the pet smell is there, and sometimes and it might be hard to get rid of, and you might wanna correct that right away before you move in. Does
Yeah,
that prevent you from moving into the home? So,
right,
yeah, and I
right.
guess that all depends. So, that was my unhinged would you rather uncomfortable, like, really hard to think about the
Yeah,
idea. The
yeah.
smell of
I've
those
been
is
in those unhinged
yes.
situations.
Yes, you
Yes.
have, and that'll be a topic for another conversation with Laura. We could talk about some of these stories,
Oh
but,
my god.
I think we're over time. Our time's up here.
All right.
This has been so much fun, Laura. So thank you for taking the time to join today's real estate recess. I think we covered some good stuff.
Yeah. Thanks.
And yeah, so loved having you on here. And that's Laura Petek. She's in Cleveland. She's a great resource if you're looking to buy investment properties out there. Ohio's a fantastic market for that. So,
Yeah.
and on that note, I'm Jennifer Schurter with Real Broker. And if you're looking to make a move around Portland suburbs, give me a call. I'd love to help you. And I will see you next time on Real Estate Recess.
See ya. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.